sfuggi, ti lascia star, e non ti corre appresso, non ti struggi, a riguardar, a riguardar. Yamo, una coppa, yamo, una coppa, ya, funiculi, funicula, funiculi, funicula, una coppa, ya, funiculi, funicula.
Ciao, sono Letizia. Hello, I'm Letizia, and welcome to Ciao, Letizia. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about spring in Italy and a little bit about pasta and some grammar. As you well know, Italy is the land of music, opera, wine, and pasta. Pasta, there's still a conflict as to who originated the first pasta. There are some that believe that Marco Polo, when he went to China, he brought back pasta from his Silk Road journeys, and it's very similar to the Chinese noodles. And some believe that the Arabs brought pasta to Sicily, and some people, like myself, believe that Sicilians invented pasta because during that time in history, all the ships on their way to Asia would stop in Sicily and they would load their boats and ships with all these provisions. So the Sicilians, being very clever people, devised how to dry dough because that's what you do to make dry pasta. Pasta has a shelf life of 2 years. Now, talking about pasta, when I first came to live here, my family moved to a community in California where there were no Italians. I think maybe there were 4. We knew all of them. And one family had goats, so we were able to drink goat milk. The pasta was a little bit of an embarrassment to me to eat pasta because no one did. So whenever we had guests come around dinner time, I would run to the refrigerator and grab anything I thought was American, put it on the table, such as ketchup and mayonnaise, pickle relish, Coca-Cola, hot dogs, anything to resemble American, because at that time, people didn't have pasta, which is like the second most beloved food on the planet today. I want to tell you a little bit about Italian celebration of spring. The Italians have come up with this really fabulous idea. And I'll say it in Italian first, and it's called I borghi più belli d'Italia, the most beautiful borghi, towns. Borghi are hill towns. So borgo is singular, borghi is plural. So I'll repeat that. I borghi più belli d'Italia, the most beautiful towns, hill towns of Italy. And every year they select 20 borghis to compete in this gara. It's a gara, to compete as gara, to win the title of the most beautiful town in Italy. They decorate all their towns with flowers, and they're beautiful towns anyway. They're medieval and they're very, all the staircases and churches. They're very, very, very pleasing to the eye. This year, the town that was selected was called, it's the name of Ronciglione, which is a little town just about an hour north of Rome. Also, in Assisi, the town of Assisi, which is in Umbria, and in the town of Noto, which is in Sicily, they have these wonderful celebrations of spring. Assisi, as you may know, was the home of Saint Francis of Assisi, who was the patron saint of animals, and his companion, Saint Clare. And if you wish to see Saint Clare today, you can see her remains in the glass coffin that she has there. Legend has it that St. Francis, when he was battling with the devil, rolled over rose bushes full of thorns. And when his body touched the thorns, they disappeared. So Assisi to this day has rose bushes with no thorns. This is true. They celebrate Assisi Calendi Maggio. It is their spring celebration at the beginning of May. It lasts 3 days. And the villagers all dress up in medieval clothes. And they sing, they do these canti di maggio, and they poetry and dancing. And they reenact the rivalry between 2 rich families of the 13th century, the Fiumis and the Nepis. The Nepis lived sopra, and the Fiumi lived sotto. That means above and below. A lot of towns have this up and up, below and above. After all these celebrations, they then crown the Madonna Primavera, the Queen of the Spring. In Sicily, there is this magnificent 16th century Baroque town called Noto. The original Noto was destroyed during the earthquake, 1600 earthquake, and it was rebuilt and designed by 3 architects who built the town with art in mind. Harmony, beautiful lines, everything falls into place beautifully. Should you look down the main street of Noto, which I did, Nikolai, you can look straight down and you see perfect perspective. Everything lines up just beautifully. It is now a museum town because they started a Noto di Sotto, another town that was much more modern. So it is a museum town, and people come there to admire the town. It is a site, UNESCO heritage site, because it is so beautiful. In this town, they celebrate for spring something called L'Infiorata di Noto, the flowering of Noto, because on their main streets, Nikolai being one, they create these flower mosaics on the road, and there are 3 main roads leading to the center, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is hard for me to believe that a town could be built with such passion and sentiment and love of art. So Italians are sentimental and they're passionate. I would like to sing you a song about a fisherman and his love for his boat. And here goes. Sul mare luccica l'astro d'argento, placita l'onda, prosperi il vento. Venite oggi lei, barchetta mia, Santa Lucia, Santa Lucia. So, that is the beautiful song, Santa Lucia. Now I want to teach you a little bit about verbs. I taught you last week about volere, which means I want to. Now I'm going to teach you potere and dovere. So let's conjugate potere, and it's conjugated like this. Posso, puoi, po, possiamo, potete, possono. That means to be able to. Dovere, to have to. Devo, devi, deve, dobbiamo. That's the trick. It's very different. Dobbiamo, dovete, devono. 2 words, to drink, bere, and to live, vivere. Let's conjugate bere. Bevo, bevi, beve, beviamo, bevete, bevono. And vivere. Vivo, vivi, vive, viviamo, vivete, vivono. You can, if you learn some simple infinitives, and by infinitives I mean to eat, to dance, anything that starts with a to, that's called an infinitive, you can form simple sentences. And if you put a non in front of the infinitive, you'll be able to make a negative, such as I do not want to eat. Non voglio mangiare. Non is N-O-N, N-O-N, you have to pronounce both N's. Non voglio mangiare, non voglio bere, non posso bere, non devo bere. Very easy. Now I want to tell you a little bit about some words in Italian that are not translatable. They're onomatopoeic in nature, meaning they sound like what they mean, such as the word buzz. One expression in Italian is boh. So if someone asks you something and they don't know the answer, you go boh, and that's rather an odd sound, and if you don't know what that means, they could throw you. Another one is you ask someone to do something and they say uffa, like I don't want to, I don't care to. And I like patapum. Patapum is boom. There are also positive expressions such as perfetto, perfect, d'accordo, agreed, volentieri, which is gladly, and presto, which is soon. So that is my show today. Ciao!
Llamo, llamo, una coppa, llamo. funiculi, funicola, funiculi, funicola. N'accompagniamo ya funiculi, funicola. Neiamo della terra alla montagna, non passo c'è, non passo c'è. Se vedi Francia, Crocette e la Spagna, io vecchio a te, io vecchio a te. Tirate con il fulminito fatto, il cielo se va, il cielo se va. Se va come lo viento allo strato, che saria sa, che saria sa. Yamo, yamo, una coppa, yamo, 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 una coppa, yamo, funiculi, funicola, funiculi, funicola. Una coppa, yamo, funiculi, funicola. Se ne salutione, se ne saluta la capaccia, la capaccia. E dritta, poi tornata e poi venuta, sta sempre qua, sta sempre qua. La capa, voto, attorno, attorno, attorno a te, attorno a te. Sto cuore canta sempre notte all'orno, sposiamo, sposiamo. Yamo, yamo, una coppa, yamo, yamo, una coppa, yamo, funiculi, funicola, funiculi, funicola. Una coppa, yamo, funiculi, funicola.